Why is the reunion so small?
Because people are different than they used to be.
Because what?
People are different than they used to be.
Yeah?
No, well, they were driving forces, you know, before. I mean, Tim put an enormous amount of time and energy into the place. Fred put in enormous amount of time and energy into the place. Percy even used to come over. He when Belmont and I were planting, so this 11-acre piece over where Tim and Helen located there. Well, that's over the stone wall. And Percy came over to help plant, to help well, just all the stuff that goes with, you know, harrowing and all that, because it was just Belmont and me and a guy from Cabot that we rented a planter from.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a lot of fun too with Percy. He just had a good time, and I don't know if Gladys may have gone on a trip somewhere, or he just had time to come over and do it. So anyway, it's and they're all grown up. Look where people live. Southern California, Central California, Alex up in Northern California. I mean, I suggested actually to the California crew that they might host the reunion one year and see if we could get anybody to go out there. And you know, nothing came of it. Although every now and then I get a little note from somebody about when people might come to California and so forth. We went out there for, well, we were going every other year for Christmas, and we went to, and they came here every year at Christmas. But once kids hit the majority, they got their own calendars, and father and mother don't have to be there. And so it works the other way too also. Father and mother may be there, but the kids aren't there because they got minds of their own. I mean, it just, we got in a month ago when well, it's less than a month ago, no, just about a month ago, Aaron was here. He came because I was sick, and they were a little concerned, so he came. But he didn't. He didn't bring Hope or anything. But Sarah came, and well, that's our 2 kids. But anyway, then they came up again. They were here for a week, and he wanted to make sure some work got done around the place that needed to be done. So he did a lot of brush hogging with a tractor, and we pruned some of the trees in the front yard. We got to do more. He spent $800 getting the tree down, but you can't avoid seeing it when you come down over the hill. Those 2 big gas tanks. Mm-hmm. Now we have a standby emergency power, 14 kilowatt. Not cheap, but if we're going to be gone, you got to make sure that the heat's maintained. Mm-hmm. And even if you got people living here, you got to make sure they've got water.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's but we're not planning to move to. Ellen bought a house down there, but it's not to take the place of this house.
In North Carolina? Okay.
Yeah, only about 3 blocks on the same street that Aaron and Hope live on.
Oh, okay.
And only halfway of that distance to their store.
Wow.
Maybe she'll be the old gray lady in that store. But, and Aaron works, he and Hope bought, I think it's 30 some odd acres. And almost the coinciding of Tennessee, Virginia, and North Carolina borders.
Yeah.
In roads that go like this.
Yeah.
So, and his boys now, Broderick is 8. In March he'll be 9. He's a handsome kid. He's going to be a big handsome kid though. He's chunky. Quite a lot of. But they feed good food to him and proper food. Hope's mother died 2 years ago. Her father died about, I can't remember, 5 years ago. Hope's mother lived to 92 or 93.
Mm-hmm.
My mother had lived till 93. One time she said she probably lived to 93. I said, what's the reasoning to bring to that conclusion? So she says, well, my mother lived to be 93 and my grandmother lived to be 94. And she says, I can't let them slip away without me getting up to the mark. So, you know.
Got to keep up the Pitkin tradition.
Well, but she's a McKelvey.
Well,
Yeah, but she got into it with the Pitkins early enough, so it seems to account that a lot of people I think a lot of people cast her with her brothers-in-law and don't realize, Muriel was the only girl in that family. That was sad. I can't imagine what it was like for Olive, not Grandma, Olive, having born 7 boys and a daughter, and then the daughter goes to leukemia. So,
she died when she was a teenager.
yeah, 16, I think it was.
Yeah. How did she die?
Leukemia.
Leukemia.
Or
Okay.
leukemia or anemia.
Mm-hmm.
No, leukemia, I'm pretty sure. Sarah had leukemia also, our Sarah. But she spotted it. She was just taking a shower one day and just ran her hands through her hair and down her neck, and she got feels it all over. Goes 2 rooms away and speaks to her grandmother. Her grandmother gets her into the hospital the next day. It's her grandmother, not her grandmother, her grandmother, was a gynecologist and obstetrician, surgeon mostly, and so it wasn't a big deal getting any hospital care.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out. I think I didn't keep a diary of it or anything, but Ellen and I flew out there, and we were there for, I guess, 2 weeks at least. But what did we do while we were in that 2 weeks? Sarah gets us out into the bay and we have to go sailing. Who pulls the spinnaker from the hull? Sarah's up on the front of the boat pulling, and she's only a week from a cancer operation. She's a very solid worker, and she's the chief financial officer for the corporation, and she handles rentals, which means when one of the big companies that wants to introduce a new perfume, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
they always go to BBI and talk with Sarah, and they quickly work out what that is. Her work for 3 days is usually about $35,000.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, but she does the high wire work. They don't put on any stuff, but she has to work way up on the top of huge, huge auditoriums, or stages at least. The guys in the company don't want to go up on that space,
Mm-hmm.
so she goes up. And her husband he had made her, I think my guess is it might well have been a preliminary engagement arrangement by making her a special wrench, so that you wouldn't drop anything from when you're way up high, and you got to have all your workers in with 2 sizes of nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they don't do that as much now as they did. Although Apple came to them with a big proposal just recently. I don't even know the nature of it, but it'll be a big job. They have in the company. There's 5 owners total, and it's interesting because in the first place, I think there's only one of them is a Catholic. Mark himself, Mark went through I can't think of it anyway. It's a Catholic prep school. Well, let's start at the beginning. His grandfather went to the prep school. His father went to the prep school. So he went to the prep school. And so did a bunch of people. And these were in the days when you wanted to be pretty well equipped. You did hi-fi. Well, now they don't do hi-fi. They produce all kinds of stuff both in glass and in huge glass panels for major stores, Levi Strauss, stuff like that. And San Francisco, they did the aquarium, did
Mm-hmm.
all of the fancy electronics and beyond. And they have to work with several different unions, but they always, when they come here at Christmas time, Sarah and Mark each have a computer, and usually Sarah and Mark have a computer, each of them have a computer, and if the kids were there, now that they're not there anymore,